when ailment happens, when illnesses happen, most times on construction project, we treat the symptoms. Fire that guy, send that guy away. We don't treat the issues, the issue of poor planning of our attacks, compressed timelines. One thing about civil engineering jobs is that most times they are on project, construction project, and there's always a timeline. Oh, we need to finish this within 1 week, within 1 month. Something that should last for 3 weeks, we want to compress it to 1 month. You make design decisions, construction decisions without engaging HSE. You believe that HSE is just to ensure that they put on PPE, and when accident happens, you start pointing at safety. That is why by the end of this particular webinar, we should be able to identify risk in our work environment before even before the job starts, while the job is going on, and towards the end of the project. At every phase of our construction, we should be able to identify high-risk activities. We should also be able to learn how to integrate safety thinking into our engineering decisions, into our planning, and into our execution. Understanding some legal framework and professional exposure as an engineer, because most times we don't even know that we are accountable. We are not only responsible, but we are also accountable. There's a level of accountability that comes with being an engineer on every project, and make safer decisions without slowing down projects. I once discussed about, I think the last section, what I did was, spoke about was, I think the first ever webinar I had with NICE was safety as a tool for project deliverable, to achieve project deliverables, to achieve project productivity. Many a times we think that safety delays our project, which is not true. Safety does not delay. In fact, safety helps us to achieve it by ensuring productive workforce, workers who understand that we care about their safety, and they are ready to put in their all. We ensure that equipment are not only working, but they can work productively and they can work without breaking down. We ensure that we only have competent people on site. All these are factors that would not slow down the pace of project. But no, we think that safety is all about delaying our task from being done. If an accident happens, we know how many hours we are going to lose. Safety is a proactive decision. And as a professional that is proactive, you should be able to think ahead of what could cause loopholes in our project deliverable. So let's begin with this simple truth. You cannot build safety. You cannot build safely what you did not plan safely. You cannot plant mango and expect guava to grow. You cannot make a poor decision about safety and expect the job to be executed safely. Let's start with this basic agreement. Do you all agree with this? That if you do not plan safely, you cannot build safely. If you agree with me, type yes in the chat room. If you do not plan safely, plan safety, you cannot build safety. You cannot build safely. If you agree with me, type yes in the chat room. One thing we don't know, or maybe we know, but we are not fully aware. Sometimes you might know something, but you are not aware. That is where they used to talk about self-awareness. Like now, I know that I'm Waliu, but they will say, tell me, you need to do self-awareness. I know myself. I know that I know this quality about myself, but I'm not aware. We might know, but let us be aware that construction remains one of the highly fertile industry globally. One of the most fertile industry. I didn't say fertile. I'm not talking about fertile. Fertile, and it's called fatality. Construction project remains one of the highest. It is not the guidelines, they are building codes, they are regulations. But because we deliberately ignore safety at the design and the planning stage. That is why we are having this wonderful conversation today. Engineer has introduced who we are, Codal Safety Consult, and we won't spend much time on this. Let us move on. If you want to know more about us, you can visit www.codergroup.com and also check our LinkedIn profile. But today is about NICE. And thank you once again for letting us understand that yes, you've heard us, you are listening to us, and yes, you agree that safety is an integral part of our job. There are many resources that is being put together to get the job done. Many resources are being put together. The human resources, the material resources. What is the nature of these materials that we are putting together on our construction project? We so much concerned about them to get our job done, but we are not concerned about the quality of the material to ensure safety. A poor scaffold material, for example, can lead to safety issues, can lead to accidents. I remember in one of my construction projects when we are doing pile loading tests. We are doing piling, we want to do pile loading, testing for the piling strength and the likes. When one of those projects, when they brought in the piling the load testing materials, they were weak, rusted, like a tank like this, rusted, weak. And I was telling them, I will not approve you to use this material for this pilot test. They say, you have started again. You want to delay our job. You want to delay us. I said, don't let us start what we cannot finish. As usual, because of pressure, they bypass. The day they erected the pilot, the structural framework for the pilot test, when they start pouring the sand, the chaff sand, to the weight, suddenly, guess what? The whole thing collapsed. The sand collapsed. The material that was weak before was destroyed, and they had to start getting laborers to pack the sand away. They start to take the old materials away so that they can bring in a new one. They spend extra money, extra effort, and extra time because they did not listen. That is material resources. That is why in safety, at the point of mobilization, everything you are bringing in, the chemicals, the materials, the scaffold tubes, the equipment, the heavy duty equipment, the cutting machine, the welding machine, the chemicals they are bringing in, every single materials will be subjected to proper inspection. Because why? We do not want something to delay our project. Safety is helping you. You need to understand that. That delay that you did not meet up your deliverable, the scheduled project deliverable, is not because of it, it's because you did not. Because by the time you do your analysis, by the time you do your brainstorming to look at how the project has went, by the time you start looking at all those things that causes delay, you will realize that many of those things that cause delay could have been prevented if you were proactive about safety. What of the human part, the human resources, the competency, the fitness to work? All these are the basics for a successful high-level project. So we are going to talk about understanding the purpose of health and safety, which I have discussed about. Creating a framework, a policy framework that sets the tone for what you want to achieve on your project. You know, we use the term policy loosely a lot. We say, I'm a man of, I have my policy. I'm a policy man. Let's think of it for a second. When someone says he's a man of this policy, that man a policy man, oh. It means something. It means discipline. It means following through to the letter. It means doing everything possible to achieve what he wants to do. There must be a policy that set the tone for achieving our set goals in our organization and our construction project. Proper planning and implementing what we have planned. Monitoring what we are implementing to be sure that it is in line with what we have planned and it is giving us the required result. Project is very beautiful. I love projects a lot because you will see what you are doing. In manufacturing, I'm not saying that you are not seeing what you are doing. No. In manufacturing, you are producing, yes, 1 million products, 1,000 products. They are taking it away. They are taking it away. Oh, it's in the market. But when it comes to project, you are seeing it. You are seeing what you are doing. You are happy that I'm the one who built this place. I'm always proud anytime I go to Eco Atlantic and I see one of the projects I supervised till it get to that point where I now resigned and went and continue with my life. I'm always proud of that project because there was no, I don't even think maybe there was a first aid case. Maybe someone had headache and the nurse gave him paracetamol. There have not been any case of even first aid because I used to tell the nurses on my site, I want you all to go to your site today when you have your site nurse. Tell them from today onward, I want to make you useless. Being useless means that the nurse is not being used. Because when the nurse is becoming useful, it means that there's an accident on site. I must make my site nurse useless. Can somebody write that in the chat room? I want to make my site nurse useless. They always laugh when I say it. Let us make that commitment that I want to make my site nurse useless. Being useless means that I'm not saying that he's useless literally. Don't misquote me. But what I mean is that when it comes to addressing incidents, first aid, I don't want to have any first aid case. I don't want to have any minor injury. I don't want to have any cut. I don't want to have any reason for him to work. I want him to come to site, enjoy, relax, and play. That is what I want him to do, him or her to do. I don't want her to work because her working means that something is happening unless if you are doing health surveillance. Maybe you want to do health surveillance or want him or her to come and do pep talk or want him or her to do some things for us. But when it comes to accidents, I don't want him or her to participate. I don't want accident to happen. I want him to come and enjoy the site. But all these things cannot be done if you do not properly plan for safety. If you are not proactive about safety, and in fact many times company will have policy, you see site safety rules everywhere, signboard everywhere is colorful, color. But when it comes to implementing, we bypass procedures. We say we are in a hurry. We are in a hurry too. Tell me. And when you are implementing, there are ways to monitor what you are implementing. Monitor your progress, your near miss report, record of your unsafe act, record of safe conditions. That is where it starts from. It starts from when you start getting notes, when you start becoming deliberate about unsafe and unsafe condition and putting action in place to address them. Putting deliberate action in place to address unsafe and unsafe condition, communicating, having a data, monitoring your progress, near miss report, incident investigation report, ensuring that you are proactive. How many trainings do you want to do? Oh, this is the process. When you come to our site for the first time, you must be inducted. We will collect your competence certificate. We will ensure that you are fit to work. When you come to our site, you will be told the procedures for work, our emergency procedures. We will communicate it to you. Then after that, we will now start. You now start working. There's a way to work. For every high risk task, there's a permit to work. There's a procedure. Use your hard hat. Use your nose mask. Use your this. Do this. Don't work without supervision. If you see something that is wrong, that is high risk, that can cause harm, report it, document it. You must follow 2 bus stop before you start work. You create a procedure of work, and this is what the safety team, the safety professionals will do for you. That's why we are here, to help you, to support the team, to support the project. Site safety policies, having site rules that must be established and that must be followed. If you don't follow the site rules, these are the consequences. But you must enlighten, engage, and leadership is an important. That's why on day 3 we're talking about leadership, because you need to lead by example. You need to lead by example. When you are developing your method statement should come together with your risk assessment. That is why we call it RAMS. Risk assessment and method statement. Actually, in reality, method statement comes first before risk assessment. But because it is not sweet to call, you can't say MSRA, but you can say RAMS, RAMS. We need our risk assessment and method statement. Some call it HIRA. hazard identification and risk assessment. You must have an effective risk assessment. Method statement must be put in place. When you draft a method statement, you should come along with the risk that comes with it, because method statement will break down the the detail of everything that wants to happen for that project. Then the risk will be analyzed. Then it will implement control. You can even have a permit to work system to enable us to, when you say system, it means that if anybody comes into it, the systems remain the same. It remains functional. It makes effective. It coordinates job activities. We are able to identify who is responsible, what is being done, how it is being done, when it will be done, and who is responsible to ensure safety of that job. Tubo talk, records, all these help us to set the framework, to set the starting point for HSE management system. Are we together? Construction safety involves procedures that is related to construction industries. Establishing safety system of work that relates to construction sites. What we are doing in construction safety, what we are discussing about, is to ensure that a construction activity or the construction site as a whole does not cause any danger, any harm to the public whatsoever. A construction site must not cause any harm to the public, to the workers and the construction site, and must not cause any damage to any equipment, any facility, as well as making sure that the finished product of construction meets required safety standard. That is why I say, and I used to say, when we're talking about safety in construction, we are not only talking about safety of the construction activity, but also integrating safety into the deliverable, into the construction project itself. For example, you are constructing road. There is a way the road should be that it will be safe for those that are going to use it. What are the safety requirements for your construction project? It's part of what we are talking about. Then the safety of people around your construction site. There's this project that is going on here, which one of the what's it called? Will I call it slab? A road construction project, the bridge that they're constructing in Ota. Is it ECOWAS Road or what they call it? Where I heard, I think 2 weeks ago or so, that they used to sell something at the base, and they have sent them away several times. Then one of the slab, I've forgotten the name they call it, reinforcement, will I call it, like you call it slab, fell and killed different people. Is your construction project, is it safe? Someone is saying something. Okay. That is why safety becomes a deliberate activity. You must set the tone for your safety, for the safety of your project. Your policy must be well defined. We are not saying that for every project you should have a new policy. Yes, you can. But as an organization that is into construction, every of your site, you must communicate your policy. As a construction company, you should have policy that you communicate to every of your projects. Have a proper planning of your activities. These are the fundamentals. The same way you plan for your construction activity, you plan for safety. Establish a safe system of work. For every major task, there must be a standard operating procedure. Procedure for using a ladder, as simple as it is. Procedure for erecting scaffold. Procedure for using scaffold. Procedure for SOP for welding. SOP for carpentry work. SOP for work at height. SOP for mason operation. SOP for lifting. SOP for excavation. There must be a standard procedure that must be followed and communicated to your staff. Establishing method statement, establishing permit to work processes to ensure that everybody remain accountable. No permit, no work. And the permit to work process must be followed and develop a proper risk assessment. These are the basics. Establish proper documentation. The purpose of documentation, you see, many times we feel like document is the beginning and the end. Document is just the beginning. The end is the evidence of what the document says you should do. A document is only a reflection of that you have done something. Document is a later thing. It's something that shows that you have done it. It doesn't tell us that what you have done is correct. Many people rely on just ensuring documents. Go and inspect, for example, you have been told to go and inspect a crane, and they give you a checklist, the crane checklist, the listening accessory checklist. Maybe it's to fill the form, you just mark it, mark it, mark it, mark it, mark it. You have passed a message that the crane is fit for use. When accident happens, you become accountable. Why do you feel that the crane is fit for use when it is in reality not fit for use? The checklist is just showing us the reality of what is happening. Safety is not about checklist. It's about getting the things done, and the checklist should just be like a record of what you have done. Daily inspection checklist. There must be a procedure to follow. When you create your work plan for your construction project, which should include regular inspection of your equipment, and the regular inspection will come with checklists that will be used, and who will be responsible to fill those checklists. They must be competent, and they will be accountable for the outcome of whatever they have filled in the checklist. Because the checklist will tell us that this thing is safe for use or not safe for use. Daily inspection checklist, electrical checklist, tower crane. There are a lot of checklists, scaffold checklist, welding equipment checklist, PPE checklist, lifting accessories checklist, the framework checklist. Are they in good condition? These are the essentials for your construction safety project. Signages to pass the information, to communicate rightly that this and this are in place in the construction project. You must have signages to tell them, oh, excavation in progress, so that someone pass will know that, okay, they are excavating here. Do not get close. Lifting operation in project, welding job is in project, earthwork in progress, excavation in progress. Or general safety rules and signages at various locations. The workshop, use your head muff, use your eye goggle, use your this, use your PPE. You ensure that because human beings are forgetful people, you keep using this information, you keep using these signages to continue to let them know that you are very concerned about their safety. Then ensure that every of your project you have competent people. Competency. Competency is not just based on education or based on experience or based on training. It's a combination of either of these or a combination of the three, depending on what you are doing. For a construction project manager, for example, if you have his competency to go across education, qualification, experience, and training. For a mason guy, his competency can be based on experience and training. There might not be any formal education. You must determine the competency requirement for everyone that is working on your project, so their competency will be able to communicate. Maybe the laborers, those that move items from one place to another, no skill is needed. Okay, we need them to be fit to work. But anybody that requires a level of skill, the evidence of competency must be provided. You want somebody to operate an equipment, but is not competent to operate it. He must go through training. At no point in time should you say that someone that is not competent, because sometimes we have such cases on site where you will hear that the operator is not available, please, this guy has been with him, this guy is his motor boy, he can operate it, let him operate the lifting operation. Why? What is the evidence that he is competent to do it? Because if anything goes wrong, this boy, his salary will not even address 1% of the cost that you are going to lose when something goes wrong. That is why there must be transitioning process. This training is not about competence, because competency management, if you want to know more about competency management, go to my YouTube channel. I did a video recently where I talk about process knowledge management and competency management. How you can ensure that you continuously have competent people on your project. You can go and watch the video. But these are the essentials of construction safety. Competency is a requirement. You must have competent people for your project. Let us watch this video quickly. Please confirm that you can hear. Please confirm that you can hear the audio.
Working in construction can be dangerous. Employees work
If you can hear the audio, please just type yes in the chat room. If you cannot hear it, type no.
in hazardous environments with
Okay, let me see if I can see yes. Okay, yes, thank you. Thank you.
exposures to falls, powered and heavy equipment, and chemicals. Statistics show that construction workers have a greater chance of being injured or killed on the job from these types of hazards. Before you step on the job site, be familiar with the basic safety hazards and understand how to protect yourself. Safety is everyone's responsibility on the job site. Workers must follow all safe work practices and applicable OSHA rules. They must immediately look for hazards and report all injuries or near misses and any hazardous conditions. Workers must keep work areas, walkways, and stairs clean and free of trash, debris, tools, and materials to prevent tripping, and take adequate precautions when working in very hot temperatures, including frequently drinking cool water and taking breaks in the shade. Personal protective equipment, or PPE, is designed to protect workers from serious workplace injuries, and using PPE is essential. Always use the appropriate PPE, such as wearing a hard hat, safety glasses, safety boots and gloves, as well as high visibility clothing and hearing protection, and even respirators when required, in the manner that they were designed. Ensure the PPE is maintained in good condition and replaced when damaged or lost. Falling is the #1 cause of serious work-related injury and death in construction. The best way to prevent a fall is to inspect the work area and ensure all fall exposures are adequately protected. Workers exposed to fall hazards 6 feet or more above a lower level, such as a leading edge, floor holes or wall openings and roofs, must be protected by a fall protection system. Fall protection systems can be temporary or permanent guardrails, safety nets, hole covers, or personal fall arrest systems. A competent or qualified person must oversee the installation of the fall protection systems. Don't work around unprotected floor and wall openings or skylights, and never walk the top plate of a wall unless using the right fall protection equipment. Protect workers from falling objects by securing all tools, equipment, and materials when working on an elevated surface or restricted access to areas where a fall or drop hazard exists. While it appears non-threatening, a ladder can be a major hazard. Ladder safety starts with choosing the right ladder for the job, ensuring it is in good condition, and setting it up properly. For extension ladders, set it on stable, level surface at the proper angle. Extend it 3 feet above the landing surface to provide a handhold, and secure it at the top or bottom to prevent movement. When using step ladders, always set it up per manufacturer's instruction. Never lean a step ladder unless the manufacturer has designed it for that purpose, and never stand on the top 2 steps of a step ladder. When climbing, face the ladder and maintain 3 points of contact. And remember, when working on ladders, don't overreach. Some workers will need to work on scaffolds, so you must be trained and understand the hazards before setting up, using, or dismantling scaffolding. Don't work from anything not designed for that purpose, such as standing on a 5-gallon bucket, because makeshift scaffolds are never acceptable. Scaffolds must be erected, dismantled, and inspected before use under the supervision of a competent person. And for scaffolds 10 feet and higher, you must add guardrails or wear a personal fall arrest system. Electricity can be extremely dangerous and can cause burns, shocks, and death from electrocution. Anyone working with electricity must follow basic safety rules. Never work on energized or hot electrical circuits until all the power has been shut off and locked and tagged out. And remember to stay at least 10 feet from overhead power lines. Make sure to inspect all electrical tools and cords before starting work and remove any damaged equipment. Protect temporary power, including all extension cords and generators, with approved ground fault circuit interrupters, or GFCIs, to protect against shock. And always use caution when working near electricity and never use power strips on the job site. Using proper lifting techniques when handling heavy materials, tools, and equipment can prevent back injuries. First, do not lift anything over 50 pounds without assistance. Next, bend at the knees as you lift the load, keeping it close to your body. Lift with your legs, not your back. Finally, be careful not to twist your body during the lift. Cave-ins pose a great risk to workers who have to perform trenching and excavation operations. First, you should call 811 a few business days before you begin any digging, so buried utilities can be located and marked. Excavations and utility trenches 5 feet deep or greater require a protective system, either sloping, benching the soil, or using a trench box. Never enter a trench unless you have been trained and the competent person determines it is safe. Have the competent person inspect trenches and excavations daily and correct hazards before anyone enters. Tools and equipment are so common on construction sites, it's easy to forget how many hazards they pose. Never operate tools or equipment unless properly trained on each type of tool. Ensure all tools and equipment are in safe operating condition, including making sure guards are in place, and inspect them before each use. And always wear the right personal protective equipment such as head, eye, hand, and hearing protection. Finally, stay clear of backing and turning vehicles and mobile equipment. Construction materials and chemicals pose a wide range of hazards on job sites. Understand the dangers of hazardous materials such as caulks, paints, glues, and sealants by reading the labels and the safety data sheets. Follow the manufacturer's instructions for handling, use, and storage of hazardous chemicals. And always wear the proper personal protective equipment according to the label or SDS recommendations, such as respirator, eye protection, and gloves. As you become familiar with these important safety basics, it's up to you to follow the rules and work safely, because safety is everyone's responsibility.
I hope you're able to identify the various hazards that have been communicated in that particular video. So now, we are still going there. This is just setting the tone for our engagement for this wonderful webinar. On your construction site, how do you start? Your entrance, you start from the entrance. Like I always say, if at the point of entrance, we do not see element of safety practice, it means that every other thing we are seeing inside will not work, is not a cause. Why are we saying this? We are saying this because that is where it begins. At the entrance, is here a segregated work area for vehicles and for pedestrian walkway? You have safety information being communicated for everybody coming into the facility to ensure that at the point of entrance, no PPE, no work, no PPE, no entry. Follow the safety procedures, and you are coming with your equipment. It was properly inspected. If you are coming with everything equipment, you must give evidence of your third party inspection and everything that comes with anything that is coming inside the facility. Every hazard comes through the entrance. Every person that is working, every equipment that is coming in, everything comes through the entrance. But you might as well say, what about a project that doesn't have an entrance? Let's say road construction. But in these days, I've seen road constructions that they will demarcate where they are working, and there will be a designated entry point and exit point. Not always applicable, but whenever it is applicable, ensure that you have a segregated work area. Have the information past there. Speed limit. They are bringing in scaffold materials. Where is the receipt of scaffold materials? Has it been tested? What's the quality of scaffold materials? The safety should come and inspect everything that is coming in. Because if you can't control it, if you can't control your safety at the entry point, it will be difficult to control it at any other point in time. Then your surrounding work environment. Who can tell me between the one on your left side and the one on your right side, which one looks more safe? Between the one on your left side and the one on your right side, which one looks safer? Left or right? Right, 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 right. All right, thank you. The right is safer, looks safer. Why? Because of the proper demarcation. Demarcation of every various location of your project. Where the office is separate. Where the materials, the scaffold tubes, the planks, and everything is being saved is separate. Where the waste will be is separate. Where the water tank is separate. Proper segregation of the work area. This shows a site that is deliberate about. This one will give you the aura for, they know you say aura for aura. It will give you the energy that I must not do anyhow here. But when you go to a site that is on the left side, everything looks somehow, everything looks not coordinated. You must have a good site layout. That is where it starts from. That is the beginning. That is the genesis. At the point of entrance, safety must be priority. Like I said, everything that is causing hazard enters through the entry point. So if you can't control at the entry point, it will be difficult to control in the facility. However, even at the facility, there was the proper alignment, proper coordination, proper site layout. That's the beginning. Clear traffic and work areas. Storage areas should be clear. Workshops to be clear. Clean up of debris. You should not have debris around. One of my policy on construction site is that few minutes before closing, housekeeping. If I come to the site the next day and everywhere is rough, now no. Once I come to the site and everywhere is dirty, everywhere is rough, before you start work, even though you want to start creating new debris, once I get to the site and everywhere is dirty, all work will stop and everybody will do housekeeping at the beginning of the day. Why? Because housekeeping is one of those, poor housekeeping is one of those things that leads to accidents on site. Are we together on this call? That is why everybody has a responsibility. As a civil engineer, as a construction worker, as a construction professional, you must ensure that they follow health and safety standard. Do your inspection before work starts on the site. Rules and practices are being complied with and corrective actions are taken. If your workers are not complying with safety regulation because our engineer is here, safety cannot do me anything, you are the joke. You are the card that is being played. You are the joker here. In fact, you're not even the joker, you are the joke itself. Corrective actions must be taken. They need to do this, let them do it. That is what shows that you are an expert in your field. I tell civil engineers, it will get to a point when you go for interviews, they know you know the job, they know you know the core, you know the core project, you know everything, you know the scaffolding, you know the calculation, you know the everything. They won't be asking you those ones again. They'll be asking you things that they expect that should be your responsibility, but you feel it should not be your responsibility. Safety is one of those things that they ask you. They can ask you, what do you do in place when you want to lift, you want to carry out lifting operation on your construction site. In fact, these days, the interview panels used to include safety professionals, safety managers. And if you can't convince your potential employer that you are deliberate about safety, then you are a joke. You are the joke yourself. Maintenance record of all machines, all plant, all equipment are kept, because the record is the evidence of something being done. Like I said, if it's not documented, it's not done. And all plant and equipment are operated by competent persons. Ensure that all identified defective equipment, machines are suspended and withdrawn from service until they are being repaired. Anytime they bring an equipment, a heavy duty equipment to your site, and it is has been assigned unsatisfactory for use due to safety concern, it should not be used. I remember one of our projects when I was working on a project in Unilag. It was a power generation project. I forgot the name of that project then, by Rural Electrification something something. I forgotten the name of that project then. Rural Electrification Agency, RE or something. So we were one of the clients that was to build that was to build the gas power plant. And one of the challenges when they were, I think it's REA, yes. Then when in one of those activities, they brought in a bomber growler, and I told them that this bomber growler, they should give me the top certificate. The top certificate is evidence that this equipment has been inspected and has been certified to be used, that it is going to deliver, is in good condition and is safe for use. They say no, it costs money to bring it here. I said, why did you not request for? I told you before you go to bring it that they should request for the third party certificate. That will give us assurance that it has been independently checked. Thank you, REA Renewable Energy, that it has been independently checked. They did not listen. They brought the Broma roller. The second day, it broke down. They now came to meet me. I remember
What
Mr.
do you break?
Negi. Mr. Negi was
Where
my
the break?
oga then.
Tanya.
Me that they were neglecting, they now came to meet me. What is that thing that you told us to ask for? I said, yeah, now you are coming back to me. Anywhere you want to procure any equipment, ask them for their third party certificate. It might cost more than a regular one, but it will give you assurance that it has gone through the right inspection process. Now they spend money to bring a wrong Broma groomer. They return it, now have to bring that new one. And that one lasted, worked effectively till the end of the project. They were happy. These are the things that we are preventing on safety. These are the things that we are preventing when it comes to safety. Third party certification for every heavy duty equipment. Third party it must be inspected by, most times, Ministry of I think Ministry of Works. There's a ministry, federal ministry, that has consultants that inspect all this equipment, and they certify them durable for use for a period of time, because heavy duty equipment must always be inspected regularly, yearly. This one now, we are not talking about routine inspection. No. We are talking about yearly inspection, third party inspection that is being done, thorough inspection. Thorough. Thank you, Mrs. Olayinka Alabi. Thorough inspection is being done on them. Then compile site accident statistics and reporting of safety performance. You must monitor your progress on safe out, on safe condition, near miss, first aid case, and all those statistics. Both leading indicators, number of training that you do, number of HSE meetings, and how effective they are, safety programs that you initiate. All these are very important when it comes to your responsibilities as a civil engineer. Project supervisor, identifying hazards during design, during operation, during planning, then doing everything to eliminate this hazard or manage the risk, reduce the risk, control the risk, ensure safety at design, and prepare written safety plans. These are your responsibilities. Prepare a safety file for your company, for your construction project, and report any non-conformance to ensure that things are in place. If you do not monitor something, it will go wrong. And that is why, as a civil engineer, as a construction project, you must understand these basics. At the construction stage, develop safety and health plan with your safety team. Have a plan. These are the things we do daily, the things we do weekly, the things we do monthly. These are the things we monitor. This is what we do for every equipment. You can use the input, process, output, we call it process approach. You can use PDCA approach, anyone you want to use to create your plan. This is not the class for those detailed analysis, but have a plan in place. We are in the era of ChatGPT. You can take ChatGPT to help you to develop health and safety plan, but ChatGPT will not implement it for you. You still need to implement it. You need to plan for safety. Organize corporations and promote all necessary information, and notify local authorities when there are issues. When you want to start a project, notify local authorities, maybe the Bale or the local government chairman. They should be aware so that they can also mobilize necessary persons that they will need to ensure proper coordination. Appoint a safety representative where there are more than 100 personnel on board. When there are more than 100 personnel on board, appoint a safety representative. And this is just another standard. In Nigeria here, based on our level of exposure to safety, for every 25 persons, if you have more than 25 persons on site, for every 25 persons, you must have one safety officer, at least. In fact, some do 1:50, some do 1:20, but 1:25 is reasonable. So it means that for four workers on site, you should have at least 4 safety officers. It's like, I think I need to review this particular slide. 1:100 is ridiculous. We are in a country where we do not take safety, we do not give safety priority, where everybody is like a dassica. So you can't even try 1:100. Report accident where employees cannot perform their normal work for more than 3 days. In fact, like I said again, 24 hours. When there's an LTI, lost time injury within 24 hours, it's your responsibility to come as a contractor. You must report it to your client within 24 hours, so that it will be reported to the right body. Comply with site rules and facilitate with site safety representatives. Then ensure safety accreditation and specific site induction. When a new worker comes into your facility, proper induction must be done, proper training, proper engagement. Are we together in this class? If you are together, type yes in the chat room. Thank you. There are a lot of regulations. I will just read them to you. You can do more findings about them. We have the safety, health and safety at work regulation, where the employer is responsible for managing safety. Now, when we say an employer is responsible, when an employer employs you as a civil engineer, you become the employer indirectly and you are responsible. National HSE policy is there so that you know that your responsibility as a civil engineer when it comes to safety is a legal responsibility, and you can be jailed if something go wrong on your site, and it is because you fail to do something that you are responsible to do. Client in construction safety codes for contractors, construction regulation, Factories Act, building codes. All these regulations tells you something. It tells you that you are responsible and you can be held accountable, and you can face disciplinary actions when you do not address safety issues based on what you need. Those ones in Nigeria, we have the Nigerian Constitution. Section 17 provides for the right to life and safety. It tells you that you are responsible. The Factories Act, that regulates health and safety practice in the workplace, including the construction site, it says that you are responsible. The Labour Act, it covers general safety and health provision. It says you are responsible. The Employees Compensation Act of NSITF, that talks about providing compensation, It says we are responsible. The National Building Code that sets standard for building design, construction, and maintenance. It says you are responsible. Waliu did not say that you are responsible. You are responsible based on regulation. The Nigeria Institute of Building Act regulates the building industry and sets standard for construction professionals. It says you are responsible. The Occupational Health and Safety Act requires employers to provide a safe working environment. It says you are responsible. Please, all these laws are subjected to review and update, and it can even be more stringent. That is why you must understand that if you are at a managerial level, you are an engineer, construction engineer, manager, you are on the side of the employer and you are responsible. What are the four hazards? We have four. We have four hazards. The biggest four, we call it the big four. There are a lot of them, but we have the big four. Fall hazard, falling at height is very common. Number two, cut in or between objects. Cut in between cutting machine, grinding machine and the likes. Then number three, we have electrocution. And number four, being struck by. Being struck by cars, vehicles, items, flying debris. Flying debris, I mean to say, these are the big four. I can ask you later that what are the big four? Fall, electrocution, caught in or between object, and struck by. You must understand this because they are the one that causes hazard the most. But there are a lot of them. Fire is an hazard. Struck by foreign object is an hazard. Open shaft, open edges. You see, these open edges is a big problem in construction sites. When you tell engineers to use scaffold materials to create guardrail, they start complaining that we don't have enough guardrail on site. What do you mean? When you are identifying your resources, are you not concerned that you need resources? You need scaffold tools to protect edges. You want people to fall on your side. Unsafe cantilever, loading platform, unsafe working platforms, overloading of vehicles, using forklift or mini bobcat to carry heavier loads, to carry people around, excavation, mobile cranes, unstable mobile cranes, and many of them, confined space, unguarded machineries, unstable scaffold, unsafe access and egress to confined space, fire, unsafe working at height, and so many hazards that are present in the workplace. But what is hazard? Because I want you to identify hazard for me later in this class. We say hazard is something. Hazard is not that player that was playing for Chelsea and later moved to Real Madrid or this team did he go to. No, it's not Eden Hazard. We are talking about something that has the potential to cause harm. Anything at all around you is a hazard because it has the potential to cause harm. Anything at all on the collision side is a hazard. So anything that has the potential, it can be sitting pretty, but it has the potential to cause harm. That knife in the kitchen that is just there in your kitchen has the potential to cause harm when it's being used, when it's being exposed to in one way or the other. That chemical, that equipment, that fan, that cutting machine, that grinding machine, they have the potential to cause harm. Then risk is talking about the likelihood that the substance will cause harm and its severity. I deliberately didn't put the severity there because many people will just copy this and put. And its severity. Risk is talking about likelihood and severity. Something can have a high likelihood that it will happen, but the severity might be low. For those that have attended our class, they will understand better. This is not a deep class. But risk, when you say something is risky, it means that it has the likelihood to cause harm. And its severity. A risk is a combination of likelihood and severity. Every object around is a hazard, but the risk level can be different. Are we together? So we are talking about hazards. Due to the complexity of what we do in the 21st century, there are a lot of activities that are taking place, and it has given rise to a lot of risk, a lot of activities, which has given rise to hazards being everywhere. The level of hazardous exposure that we have in the 19th century is nothing close to what we have had in 21st century. Why? Because of complexity of our project, because of complexity of our activities, because of our level of civilization, and we are building things every day. We want industrialization, infrastructures everywhere, and it has given rise to a high level of hazard and risk. It is essential to differentiate between hazard and risk, which I've already spoken about. Sometimes it can be complicated. Like I said, hazard is something that has the potential to cause harm. And the likelihood of causing harm, how likely is the risk level. Although the hazard can proceed to be high, such as the construction activities are often called high risk, but they are highly hazardous environment. Because when something is sitting pretty, for example, a fish, a small fish, and a whale, they are just there. If they are highly hazardous, the whale is highly, or let's say shark, the shark is highly hazardous. The level of risk now become a subject of discussion when you are not talking about the probability, the likelihood of it causing harm. If a shark is just there, not look for any trouble, then we will not say that it is high risk. It only becomes high risk when someone starts swimming close to it. It only becomes risky when we are now relating it to someone that is swimming close. In the current environment, there are a lot of highly hazardous substances, highly hazardous equipment around, but the risk level has to do with the likelihood and the severity. Because of time, something that has the potential to cause harm is hazard. For example, chemicals, chemical hazard, electricity, is an hazard. Then walking on a ladder is a hazard. Then the risk of chemicals is exposure. The risk of suffocation is what comes out from the chemical. Electrocution, electric shock, is what comes out from the electric hazard, electricity. Walking at height, falling from height is the risk of walking at height. So hazard is anything that has the potential, is that noun or that verb, that item, that substance, that process that has the potential to cause harm, while the risk is talking about the likelihood and the severity. So in your hazard identification, it's one thing to identify hazard, it's another thing to evaluate the risk level. Identifying the hazard, identifying the risk, then analyzing it to know the risk level. Is it high? Is it low? All these things will be done by you together with your HSE team. You sit down and you brainstorm. These are the basics, because you need to understand the risk level of every hazard in your workplace, so that you can be able to evaluate it and control the risk to an acceptable level and review it to be sure that it's not going to cause harm. This is what your risk assessment will do for you. Look around your work activities, check around, do inspection, ask workers what are those things that they are facing, what are the risks that they are exposed to on their construction site, and do everything to put control measures in place. Carry out risk analysis on work that might cause harm and severity to the workplace, and you need to rate them, because every hazard, that's why I say that risk assessment is a complete course on its own. Hazard identification and risk assessment is a complete 2 or 3 days course on its own. Minimum of 1 day if you want to compress it, full day. Telling you that when you have identified the hazards, then know the risk level, then you rate them. Those ones that maybe you can rate it based on Okay, so a risk that will not cause any harm can be put at low. The one that will cause serious harm can be put at high. The one that will cause death, that will cause, let's say, medical treatment case, can be put at high. Then the one that will cause death or permanent disability can be put at high. I'm just giving an example. There will be a way that you do your risk rating in order to categorize them. The more risky they are, the more control you need to put in place. All these are fundamentals. So you are able to know the likelihood and the severity. Some can have high likelihood, but the consequence will be small. While some can have low likelihood, but if it happens, the consequence will be high. So you must do this rating and be able to place them accordingly. Why are you evaluating your risk? So that you'll be able to put adequate control that will fit into the situation. You can't use a gun to kill a mosquito, for God's sake. Can you use a gun to kill a mosquito? At the same time, you can't use a fleet to kill a thief. Someone is coming to rob you. You are now putting fleet in his face. You can't use it. It's not possible. So that's why you are doing the risk rating, to be able to identify the adequate control that we are. See, your safety team are doing a lot of work. They don't just develop risk assessment. They do adequate study of the risk to put adequate control. So when they tell you that this is the control that you need to put in place, you should listen to them and work together to put those risks in, those control in place. We have electrical hazards that on your work site, sleep, trip and fall hazard, machine hazards on the work site, physical hazards, chemical hazards, ergonomic hazards, different exposures in the workplace. What are those physical hazards that you are exposed to? What are those chemical hazards that you are exposed to? You should do the risk assessment adequately, economic hazard, and every other form of something, process, item that has the potential to cause harm. And it's not only about all these physical, chemical, or work hazard. Even psychosocial hazard, work organization hazard, workload. When you are giving people too much workload, too much work, a work that should be done, a job that should be done by 10 people, you gave it to 2 people to do. You are creating hazard. When there is violence in the workplace, when there is hostility, when there is insult, when someone can just shout at anybody because he's a supervisor, you do not say anything, that is a hazard. Imagine shouting at someone at height. Imagine someone shouting at you at height. You can fall, sexual harassment and the likes. So you should be able to identify hazards. Hazard identification is a risk assessment practice that aims to identify and record safety risk. Identifying the hazard, working around. Because if you don't identify hazard, you can't be able to control the risk. You can only address what you see and what you know and what you have knowledge of. That is why you carry out hazard identification. Common workplace hazard can be reduced by establishing adequate safety controls, hazard identification procedures, and conduct regular assessment. That is why you carry out hazard identification. Working around. When you have new processes, new equipment, a new site, a new facility, a new machine, a new equipment, before every shift you want to do night work, identify hazard. While work is going on, walk around your facility and identify hazard. After there's an accident, identify hazards. You will need to do that, because if you don't identify hazard, it can lead to serious consequences. And all health and safety programs must constantly identify and assess hazard to ensure that the workplace is safe. You want to pick out those things that can cause harm, and it is a collaborative staff activity. You gather information. What are the existing hazards that you know? Oh, oga welder come. What are the hazards that you know from this your job? Oga machine operator, oga lifting operator, oga this. What are the hazards that you know that you are exposed to in the course of your work? Then perform regular site walkthrough. Walk through the facility. Check out for the 4 P's. I've spoken about it many times. The people, the place, the procedure, the plant. Check the people around. Are they supposed to be here? The visitors, are they exposed to any hazard? The workers, how are they working? Are they safe? The welder, check work activities, check the environment, the place, the environment, check the procedure that they are using to do their job. Is it safe? Check the plant, check the equipment, the tools, the excavator, the cutting machine, the gardening machine, the welding machine, the fire extinguisher. Check everything to be sure that it's in good condition. Then review accident records in the past so that you have record of hazards that are present, that are caused harm, that has caused harm before in the past. Identify similar trend and determine the level of risk and frequency of this hazard. This will help you to identify it was for your hazard. When you are doing this walkthrough, you are trying to identify two things. What are they? Unsafe act and unsafe condition. When we say unsafe act, we see something, we see an action, human error, a person's mistake by which there is a possible or deliberate action in which it can cause harm. This is unsafe action, something that is done by somebody, like improper use of PPE, improper method being used for tools, failure to use the right PPE, operating without authority, overconfidence, horseplay, poor engaging in poor housekeeping, deliberately creating poor housekeeping. That's an unsafe cat. Poor housekeeping can also be an unsafe condition. Unsafe behavior, lack of knowledge is an unsafe act. Then unsafe condition is the situation that is created, the environment that is created that is unsafe for use, that is unsafe for existence, that is unsafe for us. For example, naked cable on the ground, uneven floors, water on the ground, toxic gases everywhere, dust everywhere, oxygen deficiency, poor housekeeping, poisonous materials, improper stacking of material, poor stacking of materials, exposed cables, damaged tools, inadequate illumination. All these are unsafe conditions that can cause harm to the environment, that can cause harm to workers. That's why you must carry out unsafe acts and unsafe condition, because accidents are caused either by unsafe act or by unsafe condition, or both. It can be a combination of both. Unless if it's, let's say, earthquake, natural disaster. Most accident is either unsafe act or unsafe condition, or the both. That is why your hazard identification is to identify unsafe act and unsafe condition, to be able to understand the risk level and put control measures in place to prevent a reoccurrence. Before we close out for today, let us quickly do a simple game. Look at this site. Can you identify one unsafe act there? Let's do that quickly, and we are going to end in a couple of minutes. Let me see.
This video is originally owned by.
Let's look at this picture. How many unsafe acts are you seeing there? I want to finish today's slide. Please permit me. I might spend a bit above. I'm also fasting, so I can spend a bit above 650, so that I can cover today's class. We are almost through today's class. So what are you seeing here? Put it in the chat room. What unsafe act can you see here? If I see only 5, I will move to the next slide. What unsafe act can you see in this picture? Who can tell me? I can see a whole lot. Let us engage. Who is typing? What are the unsafe act and unsafe condition? Not only unsafe act now, unsafe condition. What are the hazards that you are seeing here? Okay, someone has typed something. Second person has typed. Thank you. Let us engage. A man hanging at the edge of the scaffold. God bless you, Engineer Brigade. If I pronounce it well. The block on the scaffold. Thank you, Engineer Pamiera. Oh, sorry, don't let me murder your name. Engineer Umar Aliyu. Scaffold is wrong. Amos hanging on the scaffold. Damio Ebujo. People without helmet. Kudirat Ganiyu. The man on the scaffold. The man carrying block on his hand. The man on the edge of the scaffold. Man under excavation. Thank you, Engineer Abubakar. You have a good insight. I know it's almost time for break. It's been 12 hours. But Yakubu, manage. It look as if you want to fail, you want to die, but you will not die. Don't worry, we are almost breaking our fast. Cable from the generator. Those cutting the. Thank you. God bless you. Let's look at the second image. Don't worry, Yakubu, manage. We'll soon break our fast today. Let's look at this one too. Just this one. What are you seeing here? We are almost done with today's webinar. Bad site layout. A worker handling high load blocks. Poor housekeeping. Let's look at the second image, please. There are a lot of things that are going on here. So you need to learn how to identify hazards. That is the bottom line. That is the goal. Identifying hazards. Please permit me to spend till 10 minutes more. Let us manage. There is no problem. We are good. If you are enjoying the class, please type yes in the chat room. If you are enjoying the flow, please type yes in the chat room. If you are enjoying the flow, I want to see 50 yeses. Type yes in the chat room. Engineer Tokumbo, you can see that I've played politics there for you. So give me a few minutes more, sir. Everybody's enjoying the class. You can see the yes flowing. So please, engineer, give me a few minutes. We are almost rounding up. Thank you, everyone.
Yes, have it.
Thank you very much, sir. So
This video is originally
it's also on my YouTube channel. It's similar to what we showed the other time, but
owned by German fabricators, and we dey translate am for
I made it to be our own content to be in pidgin because I realized that most of our construction workers, many of them don't understand pure English. So I broke it down into pidgin for them to learn.
pidgin language.
We get so many things that we will talk about today, and it's about your safety. When it comes to your safety, you should not prioritize anything else
If you
above
need the
your
video, you can. Maybe I will send the video. I will look for it and send the video to NI Safety executive so that they can share it across it because of time. So let's look at this. Has method state, although I said 10 minutes, so I can still come back to the video. Now, hazard controls. We have this hierarchy of hazard control. And many people don't know that this hierarchy, there are different hierarchy that you see. You see some, they will say elimination, substitution, administrative control, isolation, this, supervision. This one is based on ISO 45001 standard. It is written there, the hierarchy of safety control under clause 8.1.2. So it is not WALU that is saying this hierarchy, that is authorizing this hierarchy. It is the ISO standard, which is one of the international standards for health and safety in the world. And we have these 5 hierarchies. Elimination. If you cannot, that's why it is called hierarchy, meaning that one is more effective than the other. If you can eliminate it, eliminate. If you can eliminate the hazard, you don't want the hazard to exist, take it off. You want to create the work in such a way that that hazard will not exist. Take it off. It is possible. For example, there was a time that we were doing one lifting operation, so we wanted to install fire hydrant pipe at height, and they wanted to paint it. So there was 2 options: either to lift it to that height, weld it there, and start painting, and that is the risk of painting at height, or to paint it on the ground floor once and for all. Then they will not lift it and they will not install it, so there will be no need to do any work at height for painting again. So we have eliminated the need to use work at height by painting it on the ground, the pipe on the ground, before lifting. If you can eliminate, not every case you eliminate, but if you can eliminate, you eliminate. Then the second effective one is substitution. That is taking something that is less hazardous. Replacing the hazard in the workplace, in the construction site. Substitution. It means that something that is less, you are substituting something that is less hazardous, something that will cause lesser harm. If you can substitute. Replacing a crocodile with a cat. I don't want to have crocodile again. No, give me a cat. You are replacing something that is less hazardous for that particular work in order to make it safer. Then the next one is engineering control, creating barriers, isolating people, the guard, the cutting machine, the guard that you are putting there, the barriers that you are putting there, they are all engineering controls. Creating engineering control, isolating the risk, controlling the risk by physical means, by barriers. That is the literal meaning. Then the next one is administrative control, changing the way people work, adjusting the way people work. That is administrative controls, putting those administrative controls in place, changing the way work is done. the two bus stop, the permit to work system, the job supervision. These are administrative controls. Training of staff, administrative control, filling of checklist, administrative control, inspections, administrative control. They are, in fact, administrative control is what controls every other thing. It ensures that supervision is being done. It ensures that engineering control is being done. It ensures that workers are using their PPE, which is the last one. Administrative control. Then the next one, the last but not the least, is PPE. It's the least effective. That's why it is red. Many people rely on PPE alone. Don't let us be those engineers that rely on PPE. PPE is the least of it. These controls are hierarchical in level, and they all are meant to be used together simultaneously. Apart from elimination, every other control here should be used simultaneously. As you are using barriers, you are using cutting machine, you are using the gas for the cutting machine, you are still using PPE to protect your face, and you are still ensuring that the job is being supervised. All hierarchy of control are used together. All hierarchy of controls are used together, and this is where we are going to end it today. But before we finally end it, because I begged for till 7 o'clock, so I have 4 minutes, let me play this video, and that will be the end of today's session. Thank you as you watch this our final video.
This video is originally
Thank you so much.
by German fabricators, and we translate them for pidgin language.
We get so many
I want to play this video before we round up, please. Thank you.
things that we will talk about today, and it's about your safety. When it comes to your safety, you should not prioritize anything else above your safety. The safety of yourself comes first, and nothing else matters. We get so many work we will do for this site. We will say, if you don't put safety first, it will affect you, it will affect your working condition, it will affect your lifestyle, it will affect your medical condition. Remember, I say it will affect your family too, because so many people, they depend on you. You need to take your safety seriously, so that if you go out safely, you go there happy with your family. When we tell you to put your PPE, you get with me, they talk. So listen and let's learn together. Look at this work, for example. If this person no actually put on safety boot, if he don't fall, that is supposed to injure him. Just look at this way happen now. If you know where had that, what's supposed to happen? The thing go hit in head, if he die self or get serious injury. You see, after they bound for DSF, if this person no wear reflective jacket, that man no go see and say in there, and you know waiting they happen. Say grinding operation, welding operation, get so many risks, get so many hazards. If you no put safety in place, if you cause serious injury for you, see this person no wear hand glove, a cut in hand. Another thing be say this cutting operation, they bring out serious noise if you spoil your ear. And so that they give you ear muff or ear plugs, I mean they wear them every time. At least when you reach house, you go hear your family voice. Make we talk about walker tight. If the walker tight above 1.8 meters, you need to put on what they call body harness belt, unless if you fall. And if you fall your kata for ground, your bone will break and if you die. This walker tight is a very hazardous job, and you need to put safety measures in place. As they climb down, you need to put on your harness belt. If they use ladder, you need to fix the ladder properly so that it no go shake. But suppose they ground, they help you the hold am. All this kind of using of drum just to reach height, no good. Even as they work at tight, you need to take note of those people with the ground so you no go injure them. Using tools lanyard go help you hold your tools for up. Maybe say you no go injure people with the ground. Take safety seriously. Make we still talk about welding. As in the weld, like we said the other time, so many hours are they involved. So make sure say you know what you do. Create a zone. Even though if you don't put on PPE, everything don't dey paparapa for your body. The spark when they come out from welding, you need to create a caution zone so that people where they walk underneath no go walk reach your area where they walk. Make sure say your heating system they connected to the work where they do, unless if you receive shock. Confirm shock if it make you go unconscious. As you do your work, your welding work, take note of your environment, the working condition. Where you supposed to put fire blanket so that the spark no go reach there. Put time so that everywhere go dey safe. If you do welding, many things will catch fire. You need to look around your environment where you do your welding. All this gas, all this petrol, they will cause fire. Take note of your safety. Even as certain people they observe you, they do their work. You self suppose they observe signages and wait them talk. Good ventilation suppose they way they carry out your welding, your cutting operation. Whether an arc welding they do, I be they use acetylene they do cutting. You suppose make sure say ventilation day so that all those smoke where they come out go they go somewhere else. I they see some of them are good.
Thank you. It is 7 o'clock, and on this note, I'm going to round it up by saying thank you for listening. I hope we have added today. Same time, okay, let me say that. I leave the podium now to the coordinator to continue. Thank you and God bless you. Bye bye. Over to you, sir.
Wow. Thank you so much, Engineer Waliu. You have delivered as expected. In fact, beyond expectations. And it's a very wonderful um, discussion today, webinar. And I am very, very sure that even our audience agree with me. And so on this note, I would just like to pass a few information across to the audience. Then I'll yield the floor to our national chairman to give a closing remark. So some information have been shared on the chat box. I believe we were all busy listening to the webinar, so I want to draw your attention to it again. The first three links were shared. The first one is the attendance form. Please, it is very critical. Please ensure you fill the attendance form for today's attendance, because the national chairman has directed that the people that attend the webinar for 3 days, the complete 3 days, would take an assessment after this webinar. We'll take an assessment just to be sure that you actually attended. Then after then, the certificate will now be issued, because this is not just an ordinary certificate. It's a certificate of competence, and it's really, you need to really show that proof that you are worth having such certificate. Thank you so much for attending, and thank you very much, Engineer Waliu, once again. You have really done well. Thank you, sir. So, National Chairman, sir, I would like to
Thank
yield
you
the
very
floor
much.
to you, sir, for your.
Thank you so very much, Engineer Waliu. I am not surprised. As usual, you will deliver because safety is your passion. Teaching safety is what you do. Tomorrow is another day. And tomorrow, by the grace of God, we will make time to take some questions and insights from other participants so that it can be much more robust. Thank you very much, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your evening. God bless you all.
All right, thank you, sir. So, good night, everybody. See you tomorrow, same time, same link. The same link that was sent to you is the same link you use to access the webinar for day 2. Tomorrow, 5 p.m., we'll be here for you. Thank you for joining. Please kindly ensure to fill the attendance form once again. And also ensure to follow us on our social media platform. Follow us on LinkedIn, and also subscribe to the NICE YouTube channel. We have all the links on the chat box. So we appreciate you once again for joining the call. We appreciate all the NICE members on this call and non-members. We also appreciate some of our elders, our leaders in the institution that have joined this call. Our past national chairman, ESCO members, and all our leaders, our fellows, members, everybody is well appreciated. Thank you for joining, and see you tomorrow. Please, the link is opening. Just try again. It's working. People are registering already. Over 50 people have registered already for I filled the attendance form. So it's working. You may have to just copy the link, or paste it somewhere else now, so that in case it's not going on your phone now, you can try it later. Because we'll be closing the Zoom platform. I will leave it till 5 minutes more, so that in case you still want to access those links, you can do that. So by 7:10, I'll close the Zoom platform. So please try again. The link is working. Chat.
My attendance link is not opening. My attendance form is not opening. No.
How can I access the attendance list, please?
Mine is not opening too. Can't access
I can't
it.
even access it.
Same with me.
The attendance is opening. We'll try it again. I just finished filling it.
Mine is not opening.
Probably it's network from your own end.
Please resend the link. Let me see it. I can't see it.
I'm copying it. Maybe I will have to do it later again. I don't know.
Maybe you copy it and paste it somewhere. The link is still there on the chat, under the chat option.
The chat is too much and time is going. If you can quickly resend it so that I can quickly get it, please. Attendance link. Okay, I've seen it.
So you are welcome.